Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Dev Mission Fellowship Final Showcase event. My name is Francis Lee. I'm a member of the Board of Directors for Dev Mission and one of the lead mentors of the Dev Mission Fellowship. And it's my privilege to welcome you here today to hear about the Dev Mission Fellowship from us at Dev Mission, as well as our partners at Uber and Code for San Francisco. And then to hear from the fellows themselves as they present the projects that they've been working on for the past 18 weeks as part of the fellowship. So let's get right into it. What is the Dev Mission Fellowship? It is a rather unique program, I think, that is offered to graduates of the Dev Mission Pre-Apprenticeship Bootcamp. It builds upon what they've learned in the bootcamp through an 18-week dual-track program that introduces full stack web development skills in partnership with engineers from Uber, as well as user-centered product research and design with volunteer designers from the Code for San Francisco Brigade. The fellows then create project teams to research, design, and prototype an open source web application that serves a community need with help from the Code for San Francisco Volunteer Brigade. The fellows also receive up to a $1,000 stipend sponsored by Uber. To hear a little bit more about the initiatives that Uber has created to reach out to young people and to foster the next generation of tech talent, it is my pleasure to introduce Sukumar Rathnam, the CTO of Uber, and Hao Trong, a director of engineering at Uber.
All right, sorry. I wasn't able to share video or unmute myself until recently, but I just wanted to first off to say congratulations to this graduating cohort. I know that it takes commitment, right, and hard work to finish any program like this, and just want to say first off, congratulations. It's really amazing. And this is one of the things that I myself personally love about engineering and computer science, where it does allow for multitude of background, right, to learn and break into and make this into a career and a different career path. I know this is just the beginning of your journey, and in terms of my new role supporting diversity and inclusive effort across engineering, this is like definitely one area that I'm particularly passionate about, is like how to help and support non-traditional engineer to break into and become successful in this new career and become software engineer. So once again, congratulations. And I know this is just the beginning of your journey, but hopefully you will continue down this path, and hopefully we'll end up at Uber one day. Sukumar?
Thanks, Hao. So first of all, congratulations. This is it's a great milestone. It's a good first step, and I think in all of these journeys, the first step is really the hardest step, right? And after that, it just builds on itself. And one of the reasons I wanted Hao to join us today as well is both of us, have been in tech for some time, and we started kind of in similar ways, but then we ended up going very different routes. And like here we are back together at Uber, right? And now she's doing some, she's doing work that essentially builds on sort of what she's done in engineering, but it sort of has much broader impact other than just building a product, right? So from that perspective, I think it just shows that there are multiple paths, right? And I think what's really important for everyone is try multiple doors, right? If the first door doesn't work, try a second door and a third door, and keep trying it and keep building up your basic skill set, right? It will all eventually work together, right? It may not all work, the first time, and the first time may be hard, but don't give up on it, right? And I think this is, this is a great field, because ultimately it is, I still think there's a lot of sort of, opportunity. At the end of the day, results will speak for themselves, right? But it's about making sure you get the right opportunities, right? And that's where really I think, what the kind of work Dev Mission is doing, the kind of work that Hao's driving, all of that are important, right? Because it levels the playing field to get into it. And once you're into it, then results will speak for themselves, right? it's about, it's about eliminating those barriers and friction to getting in. I think sort of for everyone graduating, this is a really good first step, right? It's probably the hardest step, right? And there'll be some obstacles along the way, right? But I'm sure that you'll bust through them. So once again, congrats, and this is, welcome, right? So.
Thank you, Sukumar and Hao, and thank you again to Uber in general for helping to sponsor the Dev Mission Fellowship. I'll now hand it over to Leo to say a few words.
Thank you, Francis, for allowing me to be here today. On behalf of the board of directors, our leadership team, our faculty, most importantly, our staff, and all the young people that have been part of the Dev Mission Pre-Apprenticeship program, we would like to congratulate all the Uber Fellowship for the 2021 cohort. It's a great honor to be here on behalf of an organization that started 4 years ago with an intention to create the next generation of tech talent. And for everyone that's here from Uber, we want to thank you for allowing this organization to be not only supported back in 2017, as we didn't have a place to be. And we started working at the 555 Market location, and then we moved down to our headquarters in the Mission District inside Valencia Gardens. But during that time, we had many volunteers that supported the work that we have been doing for the past 4 years. So I will continue to engage not only in that type of conversation that Uber has delivered a corporate responsibility approach, has provided grants to the organization, but most importantly, has created this employment pathway for young people to become full stack developers at some point. Not only we have been able to receive the necessary restricted dollars to make this happen, but also the young people that have gone to the programs have also received incentives and equipment that has been donated to this organization. So now I'm going to address all the graduates. I believe I shared with you my thoughts on Tuesday, but today it's a joy for me to not only congratulate you, but also to let you know that just like you heard from Sukumar and how this is the first step of many. There's going to be a lot of steps ahead of you, and you're going to have to climb that ladder. It's going to take tenacity. It's going to take passion. It's going to take accountability, responsibility, but most importantly, the network that is available to all of you. Never, never underestimate the network that you have right now from your fellow graduates today, from the Dev Mission organization, from the Uber engineers supporting and volunteers, and from Code for Itself as well, Code of San Francisco. They have provided many, many volunteers to support you. So don't ever forget that, because one day they can write a recommendation letter for you, and you never know. One day Francis or Alan or Sukumar or Hal or Ryan or Curtis might come and say, hey, you got an opportunity. I heard about your great project you did with the Uber Fellowship. Would you be interested to be part of this? And I know you're going to say, I'm ready. So thank you all for having me today. Again, thank you, Uber, for believing in this idea to continue to help young people be exposed to STEM careers, but most importantly, how we disrupt the tech industry with homegrown talent, born and raised in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, that one day is going to take a seat at any of the Uber opportunities and beyond throughout the city. Thank you very much. Congratulations again. And thank you, Francis and Alan, for creating this wonderful program as well together. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Leo. And that's a good segue to turning it over to my colleague and partner in crime, Alan Meyer from Code for San Francisco, who's been with me since the beginning when we started the first fellowship cohort 3 years ago. Alan?
Thank you, Francis. First, I wanted to thank my colleagues at Uber and at Dev Mission for joining us in this program. We obviously couldn't have done it without you. So just a little bit of background. On me, I am, my day job is I work as a visual designer for the city of San Francisco at the Human Services Agency. And I feel it's kind of an honored position, but I realize that my background has really kind of helped me attain that position. So I wanted to kind of create other opportunities for other people to be able to follow in that path. Code for San Francisco is a volunteer organization, part of Code for America. We really see ourselves as a community space where people can come together and work on civic problems. We're a welcoming space. We have a code of conduct to try to keep people from kind of insulting each other. That rarely happens. We've been meeting every Wednesday night since 2014. And I think that one of the important things that Code for San Francisco offers as a community space is an opportunity to experiment, to learn, to network, to try new skills. If you have a business idea that, an entrepreneurial idea that you want to maybe seed and see if it'll take off. I've seen all kinds of projects begin at Code for San Francisco over the years. When we started the fellowship, one of the things we noticed, though, was that most of the participants were either already in the tech industry, perhaps were newcomers to San Francisco, or were often kind of skewing towards like a kind of white middle class male demographic. And we really wanted to, like, if we were Code for San Francisco, we really wanted to try to make that happen. So we looked for a partner, and we found DevMission. This is our third cohort, and we're really excited. It just grows a little bit every year. Francis, can you just go to the next slide? So what do we do at Code for San Francisco? Kind of two tracks. We've become a pretty trusted partner for the city of San Francisco over the years. We have developed projects, including Adopt a Drain, which is with the Public Utilities Commission, that enables you to, well, literally adopt a drain. If it would actually rain anymore, you could actually test the website and see if it works. But Francis was the lead developer on Intentional Walk application, which you can see right there with the Department of Public Health. And he's also currently working on something with the San Francisco Fire Department, hospital bed finder. So those are kind of like the more municipal civic tech projects that have, some of the ones that have happened. Most recently, our volunteers have developed a COVID dashboard that is just for the Bay Area. It's really cool. You can kind of filter data for the counties around the Bay Area. We have a data science working group that is data science geeks, and they have their own kind of track of projects. And that includes right now, policetrends.org. They're looking at funding of police departments. And then there's the Bay Area Relief Portal. And this is a website that aggregates all of the different relief efforts that are available for small businesses. Some other projects include Lane Breach, which was for bicycle activists. And you may or may not be familiar with ShelterTech. And that is a nonprofit now, but it literally began as a volunteer walking in the doors about 5 years ago, who said that he had been homeless and that he wanted to create an app to help his people that were on the streets access services. And Code for San Francisco gave him the opportunity to create that application. And it was successful enough that it actually went on to become a separate nonprofit. So Code for San Francisco is really as good as the volunteers that come there. And what we on the organizing team try to do is just kind of support them. In the past, we made sure there was food every week, and I'm looking forward to being back in person at some point. But I would like to turn it over now to our new group of fellows, or the latest group of fellows. I'm really impressed with their dedication and their hard work. I was really skeptical about being able to kind of create projects like this over Zoom. It's a very collaborative, kind of iterative process, and I really wasn't sure if it was going to work remotely, and it's actually exceeded my expectations. So I'm really excited about this cohort. So I think without further ado, I'm not sure who's next, Francis, but.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. I'll just add before we switch over to the projects that for both Sukumar and Leo's points about building your network, Code for San Francisco has been an important part of my personal and professional network here as an engineer living in the city. I've met a number of friends and colleagues and business partners through working on projects at Code for San Francisco. And it's more than just about finding other people who have technical skills. It's also about finding other people who share the same values that you do in terms of giving back to the community and wanting to work on projects that have a real impact on people's lives. And I really applaud Alan and the rest of the core team at Code for San Francisco for making this effort to reach out to DevMission and to try and make the brigade reflect the diversity of San Francisco by reaching out to the young people at DevMission. So first up, we have Bulga, and now we're going to try our Zoom remote control. I'm going to give remote control over to Chuck. And I think everyone should now also be able to unmute and show their video. You have control, Chuck. Take it away.
Let me check to see. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Chuck, and this is our project called Bulga, and our teammates are Demir, Sean, and Renee. So our project idea came from wanting to help young adults to develop financial stability. My team and I personally experienced this struggle when we recently graduated and wanted to create something to help out. So we came up with a solution to help young people to create a personalized budget plan for them to follow. This does not only help them to save money on a monthly basis, but it also helps them to create mindset to have a better financial decision. So we conduct user research through in-person, online, and survey. We saw that about a quarter of young adults have no personal savings at all, and majority of them are in some kinds of debt. So realize is that they don't want to have a good financial health, but they just don't know where to start. And on top of that, not all of them have the financial literacy. And the audience that we're targeting are mainly high schooler, college students, or anyone that have like part-time job or some kinds of income. Okay, Sean?
Yeah, so a quick example is Mike just recently graduated from college, but he never learned how to manage his money during school. Now he wants to save money and try to get a new car. So he's looking for a free app, which is easy to use and fit his needs to help him out. So he goes online and found an app called Bulga. He signed up and set up his goal and tried for a few months. Now he knows that he spent a lot of money on like buying food and spending money on shopping. So now with this app, so he become happy and no longer suffer from stress about money.
Hello all, here's a small snippet of how we created our design for Bulga from our wireframes. We couldn't have done without the help of Code for San Francisco and the great Britt Jensen. She really did an amazing job with our project design. The next few slides, I will walk you through the process of creating an account. When you arrive at our homepage, you'll click sign up. After that, you'll go through a series of steps so that we can best help you attain your budgeting and savings goals. Step 1 is your basic sign up information. Then step 2, we will ask you how much money you're likely to spend within the month. Step 3, we'll need your savings goals. And in step 4, you can add all of your monthly expenses that will be color categorized. Now with that being done, you're ready to crush your savings and budgeting goals. In short, once fully developed, Bulga will provide money management with the means of focusing on your activities and will monitor your financial performance while also comparing your savings progress to your budgeting goals.
Francis, are we going over the Heroku?
Yeah, if you will, feel free to open the link.
Oops. How do I? Okay, so this is our homepage, and as you can see, it looks to our design made by Britt. And then I'm going to go over the sign up process. But before that, our resource page, FAQ, and then I'm going to create a new account as a new user. I'm going to type. And then the next step will ask you to how much your budget. As for example, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next step, and then you can set a saving goal here. Let's say I want to save a laptop, and then it'll cost 1, 2, 3, 4. The date, which can be any date. Then here, let's say I want to make a category for drinks. Also 1, 2, 3, 4. And then now you can go to overview, and then you can see the data that I just input, the category. For now, we don't have the visual, but this is the data that we put for the budget, the categories, and then this page is coming soon, same as this. But we do have an expense that the user can enter to update the system about the expenses. So let's say I want to buy a phone case. And it should show up here. And if I want to delete, I can just click on delete, and then it should be gone. And yeah, that is the sign up flow. And then we'll be working on more of the visual design in the future. Can you go back to the slides? And then at the end, we'd like to thank Youth Admission, Uber, Cohort San Francisco for this amazing opportunity for us to work and also to create this project. And then we'd like to shout out to Francis for our main instructor, and Britt and Ryan for the design and also the help throughout the project. And that should conclude our presentation for Bulga team.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any questions?
If there are any questions I forgot to mention earlier, you're welcome to hit the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom panel, and we can watch for any questions. Does anyone have anything they'd like to ask to the Bulga team about the app that they've created? Chuck, maybe I'll ask you or anyone on the team, in your research, what do you think is the one tip that you would recommend for young people in terms of creating their budget based on the research that you've uncovered?
I think one tip is from talking to our user friends and family, I think that the users should have some kind of budget in mind first that they want to follow, because most of the time people don't follow is because they don't have a budget plan, and they just either forget about it or they lost track. So having like a budget set in mind is a great first step to like saving money and also being financially stable.
I'll also add that one of the things that I love the most about your project is that, if you look at existing budgeting apps online, one of the first things they try to ask you to do is to connect your bank account.
Yes.
But if you're a high school student and you don't yet have a bank account, what tools do you have for it? And so to create something that anyone could just sign up and start using, I think could be a really great contribution for young people in the community. Thanks, Bulga team. Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Codeswitch from Rukaya and Aisha. Rukaya, I'm going to grant you control over the screen.
Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hello, everybody. My name is Rakaya.
And I'm Aisha, and this is Codeswitch.
Oh, wait. Oh, Francis, you haven't the updated slides.
Did you, when did you update your slides?
Earlier today.
Because I had copied them in just about 10 minutes before we started.
Let me see. They're on here.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna redo that. Hi, everybody. My name is Rakaya.
And I'm Aisha, and this is Codeswitch.
Students, we were all once one, or still are one, and we are confused and lost and out of jobs and internships and purpose. Okay, maybe not the last one, but when you're thrown into the shark tank fighting for one piece of meat with no help, no guidance, and no friends, it can get ruthless, difficult, and lonely. That's what engineering and computer science majors feel like. Now, how do we know this?
Our user research exposes it all. We have found that engineering and computer science students at San Francisco State University feel inadequate, unsupported, underprepared. They are more stressed, anxious, confused, and lost, but above all, they feel alone. We have found that a large percentage of students don't see a counselor or advisor until graduation. Our research has shown that very little attend tutoring sessions, and just about everyone intends to apply to jobs post-grad without employee referral codes, just like everyone else.
As you could see, we students and former students undergo an immense amount of stress. How do I do this? Forget it, I'll figure it out. What roles are out there for me? CS is coding and coding is tech and tech is software engineering. Well, what if I don't like coding as a job and I want to pick a different career, but I'm already too deep into this major. There's nothing else out there. How do I switch majors? Do I intern in something else for more experience? What if they don't want me? What if I'm not qualified? What if I don't have all the requirements? I don't have 5 years of experience in X, Y, or Z. Relax. Everyone, please take a breath. Take a deep breath. Everything is not going to be okay if you don't prepare for the worst case scenario. Well, how do we prepare, you ask? By getting a mentor. We've taken our potential user pain points and utilize them as our key drivers. We want to connect, promote, and build. Connect you to someone who's gone through the process because you are not alone. We want to promote all of the unadvertised roles because there is always a role out there for you. And lastly, we want to build community, build networks, and build a solution to a problem we all face as students and former students.
Here at Codeswitch, we value our users, so we've implemented a user-centric design model where we've built our entire platform, program, and event around you. You don't know about careers beyond software engineering and sales? Attend our event. Have social anxiety and not comfortable with networking in person? Head over to our website and scroll through our available mentors. Busy scheduling and tired of AI pairing you up with people who also like dogs? With our platform, you have the power to choose who you set up a call first, and you send them your availabilities.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's show you all of our progress. So we started here, okay, landed here, and with a few sleepless nights, we somehow ended up there. Now, as you can see, there's been a lot of effort and work put into our wireframing alone.
We've learned a lot about user research from interviews to data collection. We want to take this opportunity to thank Francis, Alan, Ismail, Leo, and all of the people that made this happen. One hard lesson we had to learn was less is more. We turned 6 frames into one for our mentor filtering page, where you're able to see a carousel of mentors, view their profile, and send requests and messages.
We've even rebranded. Our old icon logo, it was cool. The S is there. The image of 2 links interlocked was sometimes conveyed, but we thought to ourselves, we can do better. So we went through a few iterations with community, mentorship, and bringing people together in mind. We landed right here. This is our final iteration for our logo icon. If you can see it, there's a handshake with that symbolizes working together. The gradient symbolizes change, and the imagery utilized was supposed to make it look techie-like. So I hope it fits in.
Last but not least, here is our website and prototype. We'll go through the flow of registering as a new user. You first look around the website. Oh wow, it's so nice. Then click the login button here. As a new user, you'd click here and input your information. It would then bring you to this page where you'd include your demographic information such as major, gender, race, location, and so on. After you register,
oh my God, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
We end up here. Let's switch over to our prototype.
Okay, then how do we go back, Francis, so you can help us?
It's the tab at the top.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay. So, here, sorry. You end up here where you're able to filter through the different mentors through gender, sexual orientation, race, location, and etc. You're also able to send a request and your message.
After a request has been sent and accepted, you can check back by clicking the Requests tab in your nav bar. This will bring you here, where you're able to see your progression bar. As you can see here, the mentor has accepted the request already, which will then kick off the 3-month-long membership, or mentorship, sorry.
You can easily message your mentor through going to this tab right here or clicking this button. Whenever you're done texting your mentor, you can log out by pressing here and here. Okay.
Right, so what is our next steps? Well, we don't want to say too much, but we'll attempt to bring Codeswitch to life. Nothing is set in stone, and we're excited to see where this goes, but we are in conversation with a few organizations and clubs to continue this project after the fellowship.
And with that, we'll wrap it up there. Our contact information is below, so if you want to stay updated with our progress. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll ask, I think I saw on Facebook that you are scheduling a first networking event. Is that still on for the summer?
Yes, actually, we are hosting our first kind of beta testing this one. Don't expect much, please. We're in partnership with Salesforce to host an event with panelists and networking and learning about different careers that are not advertised. So
I have a quick question. So in terms of, this is great actually, because I feel like getting connected to the right mentor and building your network of support through mentorship is crucial. How are you finding mentors?
yeah, so typically how we are finding mentors is we're looking to partner with people that will bring in the mentors. Our responsibility or our core responsibility is to make sure that everything is facilitated from both ends, both the mentors and the mentees. We're not done with the website yet, but in terms of the program, our partners would bring in the mentors and we would work with local colleges such as San Francisco State to work with the different clubs to bring in the mentees.
Got it. Thank you. That's great.
And you could certainly work with Code for San Francisco to bring in some mentors.
Of course, we haven't forgotten yet about you, Alan.
I have a quick question. Great presentation for both of the programs. I had a question for the Bulga, but I figure it was kind of answered. Regarding this Codeswitch application, what is the commitment for the volunteers? And not just the commitment from them to sign up, but what are the perks that you bring in for everyone to get involved with this project?
Can you elaborate a little bit more on the perks? Are you mean in terms of with the program or afterwards?
Either or, whatever you think is the best approach.
Well, thank you, Leo, for always pushing my buttons. I have not thought that deep into it. However, honestly, it's really like someone had said earlier, it's really about building your network. One point that we really wanted to make earlier was that a lot of people apply for internships and jobs without referral codes, meaning they don't know anybody in the companies that they are applying for. And so what we're trying to do is create more of a relationship and community between people who don't work in tech yet versus, and people who do currently work in tech. And so, you know, we can say a bunch of perks about how I can give you a shirt that has, you know, our program name on it, but honestly, your network and who is able to bring you to what places is more valuable to us.
I would imagine that. I would imagine that on the mentor side, in the same way as we see people committed to coming to Code for San Francisco every week to volunteer on a project, I could definitely see people wanting to reach out and work with and find those really dedicated young people who would want to pair up for that. So thank you, Codeswitch.
You're welcome.
So next, FairPlay. And Zitzo, I will send remote control over to you.
Cool, thanks. Okay. So hi, I'm Zizo, and I'm part of FairPlay, and my teammates are Andres and Caesar, and we're hoping to bridge the digital divide for college students. Okay, so I'll pass this slide off to my partner, Andres.
Thank you, Zizo. And so our problem is that many students struggle with their education because they face technological barriers, and we don't believe that they should, because oftentimes, like in this day and age, you really need a computer if you want to succeed. So our solution to this is creating a platform where donors, local programs, nonprofits can easily coordinate and receive and distribute this technology to students at no cost. And everybody has a part to play in this process, from the donors who would be providing this tech, to nonprofit partners who would be taking the tech from donors, to program directors distributing it. Program directors. And then program directors would be spending their time accepting students and making sure they would be registering this technology. And students, meanwhile, will be benefiting from this entire process.
Great. Thank you. And for our user research, we decided to conduct some one-on-one interviews with some students, in this case, a San Francisco State University student. And based off those interviews, we learned that students needed a variety of technologies to be successful, whether that's laptops, monitors, mice, webcams. And one that is usually overlooked is a stable Wi-Fi connection. We just assume that everyone has that, but that is really key to a student's success in this day and age. Also, we noticed that participation in the class was hindered when students didn't have working technology. For instance, if their mic was broken, they couldn't unmute and ask their teacher a question, and they couldn't socialize with their classmates. So based off this information, we were able to determine which devices we needed to include on our platform. And we were able to create a path for technology to go from the donors and ultimately into the hands of the students. So I'll pass this on to my partner, Caesar.
Yeah, and then in order to understand a bit of what gap we are closing, not only in the tech sector, but with the organizations that exist out there, we did a landscape audit of the industry of different organizations that work in education, tech, and bridging that gap to bring, as we said, equipment to students as they need it. So we aim to serve them as best as we can. And that's why the platform took on elements from other organizations, such as an event creation, where in this event, students could come in and receive their equipment so that it would be a flow that could provide them with this equipment in a much better organized way. And then if we can move slides. We also thought of like, how does this flow exactly look like? As Andres said, it goes from donors who have the equipment all the way down to students. So we did user research to better understand what are their needs and how we can create the solutions to these needs and the different pain points and goals that we are looking to be able to provide solutions for. And I would say next steps is to refine how that sign-up process looks like and to make it more intuitive, to have in students come in and donors come in and all relevant stakeholders.
Okay, and once we determined which user types should be using the tool, we started to explore how they would be different from each other by writing them out. And from this, we learned, for example, which features were absolutely necessary for each function, such as confirmation pages for signups, confirming donorships, and we even saw that some features were really necessary, such as tech support for students. We also became much better at understanding the difference between each journey and how they interacted. We also saw that some features such as real-time action monitoring, such as how a donor will be able to see how their tech is being transferred from en route, in storage, and already being received by the donor was incredibly important. We also started to write out how different types of donors would be receiving or donating to students in different ways, such as how they would have different requirements, such as if you were an individual, a company, or a community or nonprofit, there was a different process for that. We also saw that there were next steps after this, such as removing any redundancies that we were writing out. Like you wouldn't want to sign up to a website, put in your name, and have to be asked your name again afterwards.
Great, thank you. And for the wireframes and data models, we really created these to better serve our users. We wanted to walk through how it would look like for a potential student or donor or program director going through this. And we realized that the best thing we could do is to create a sign-up form that would split each one of those users into different pathways. And by doing this, we also figured out how to translate our user journey onto our wireframes and really visualize our ideas. And the data models kind of laid the groundwork for the information that we needed for when we created them in our code base. So using all this information, our next steps were to kind of figure out color palettes and analyze other websites, and to also begin creating the models based off the Figma that we had. So moving on to our visual design, we grabbed those simple wireframes that you could see on the left, and we had our visual designer, Callum, who worked really hard on these, and he made the visual design on the right. And based off of this, we learned that a better UI equals a happier user. They will generally tend to come back more if the UI is better and they have a pleasant experience. Also, style guides and color palettes make a web app more consistent and appear legitimate, which is important to build brand trust with our users, especially donors. So the next steps from here were to start developing the front end of our project and coding visual designs.
Yeah,
And
so finally, we have our website prototype, which is deployed using Heroku. And as CISO said, marrying all of that knowledge and all of that we have learned using user research and UI, UX components and front-end design to build that prototype.
Great. Let's check it out. So here's our homepage, and you could see whichever role you want to be. Be a program director. There we go. Totally secure password. Why not? Let's agree to our terms. Okay, and here we are in the organization creation process. So let's create one, SFSU.
And this way we can collect all of that information, relevant information from our users in order to keep in contact with them.
Yep, that is correct. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Let's pick our state, California, SF. Good place. Good place. Let's submit that form. And there you go. Application has been submitted.
The application has been submitted.
Here is the organization. And here is the program director. And this is just kind of for us to see. The user wouldn't actually see this. This is just to know that it actually got created. But yeah, moving forward, we plan to build this out more and have it fully functional. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here is our contact, and please feel free to ask any questions.
Great work, anyone. Any questions from the rest of the panelists or attendees? What was the name of the organization at SF State that you were talking with earlier that you thought might be a first program director partner?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was Metro. And I'm actually in Metro, so I know what it's like. And they pick kind of students who are in underserved communities, and they work with them to achieve more educational goals and success overall throughout your college experience.
I have a question for FairPlay, if I may, Francis.
Please.
Thank you. Great job. My question has to do with the back end of the donation program. As all these wonderful organizations and others are going to be donating to this cause, what is the, away from the investment, what is this project would do in respect of making sure that these organizations can allocate that donation to their taxes? What is the process behind that? And what is this project going to facilitate to make sure that these organizations can utilize that donation for their in-kind donation to a cause like this?
Yeah, so here's the great thing with our process. So you could actually see this process happening today and everybody signing up. There just hasn't been a platform for it. For instance, the donor would be like Uber donating their laptops to us and giving it to DevMission. DevMission would then hand the laptops over to the Pre-Apprenticeship program, and then the Pre-Apprenticeship program would hand it to us. So we don't directly deal with that. We have our partners deal with it, and it's a process that's already there. There's just been no one to fill that void.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you, CISO. Appreciate the answer and good process, by the way.
Thank you.
And I think what it means is that we have a first test partner with DevMission. We can get to that point in the prototype.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, you know how we do the work. So great apps. This is so exciting to see.
So next up, GardenSpace, and Yosebet, I'll hand remote control over to you.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Jan.
Hi, I'm Yosebet.
Our fellowship project is named GardenSpace. GardenSpace is a platform that helps connect organizers with volunteers to learn more about San Francisco community gardens. Next slide, please.
Hold on, I don't know why it's not. Oh, it's just a little slow.
No worries.
There you go.
In San Francisco, not much people know about community gardens exist. And GardenSpace mission is to bring more awareness of community gardens and connect them with various organizers throughout San Francisco. We have learned that community gardens contribute team building. For our user research, we have learned that community gardens contribute to team building exercise, gain knowledge of agriculture, and have various four type of community garden exists in the Bay Area, such as individual plotted allotted waitlist system community gardens, communal gardens, educational gardens, volunteer opportunities, and community service gardens. And also, due to this pandemic, community gardens has been due to a lockdown and closed and was on pause due to the pandemic.
Our main goal for this web app is to help learn the community about community gardens around the Bay Area, to help maintain the gardens, and also to learn about different species of plants that are grown in the Bay Area and also at the community gardens. And our motivation for building this web app is to relieve the frustration of finding community gardens near us, and also like scheduling, making it easier for people to schedule visits at the community gardens they prefer to go to. And this is our user journey. So our user journey for now, it's mostly for an individual. And so if someone wants to go to their nearest community garden, so they'll just do Google search, like where's the nearest community garden, and then they'll probably find our web app on Google, and then our locator app would, so they'll pick whichever community garden they go to, and then show them the location, hours, plants are found there, like many other information, and go there, I guess. And then in our design, we have, so there's two designs we had. Our initial design, you can see the differences that, like in our initial design, we were using the color purple. And initially we were planning to have pins on a map and locating, like showing every community garden around San Francisco first. And then whenever you click on the pins, like on the right side, a card would pop up, and that would give you more information on which community garden you picked and hours and everything. And on the right side, you can see that in our final design, we included a logo. We changed the color to green, which is more garden-based or plant-based. And here, the difference is that we changed our idea to, when you scroll through the cards on the right and you can pick whichever community garden, it would show up on the map. So it would just tell you, oh, it's found right here on the map. And then when you click on the card, itself, it would take you to another page where you can find more information about the community garden, like what kind of plants are grown there, hours, and everything. And also here we added one more page just to like help learn the community about like what community gardens are in general. So when you go to the what are community gardens page, you can see a quick brief description of what community gardens are.
Okay, and here's our plant library. For each community garden is different. It shows the various plants that's grown in each community garden. And here's our scheduling system, which you can sign up with and connect with organizers for each community garden of when and where you want to go. And here's our confirmation page. If your reservation, you can put your full name and email, and if your confirmation is successful, it will lead you to this page of a successful confirmation and when of the community gardens and when you want to go. Okay, and here's our rough prototype of our application. Can I have control to click the link, please? All right, no errors.
I think the server is just waking up. So if we give it
I
a
see.
second, it should come up.
Cool.
There it is.
Okay, so this is our rough prototype of our application. As you can see, this is our home page. Currently, we have like an image of our map, but in the future, we plan to have like a movable image of various pointers showing the different community gardens. This is such an example, such as Geneva Community Gardens, Alamani Community Gardens, Potrero Hill Community Gardens, their address, and a short description of each of them. So here's our Word Community Gardens page, a short description of each of what community gardens are and where, a short description of what community gardens are. And our plant library, which here's a plant input where you can look up each plant to see which it is. A garden and options of which garden you want to see and which plant. And our get involved page, which there's a calendar which you can sign up and for each day and hours. Although it's not working yet and we're trying to fix it, here's our logging and registering system. After you log in and register, it will lead you to this page. Here is the organizer side of our application. You can replace an image here, change the name, address, description, hours, phone, and email. For the organizers, you can also input each plant that's available in your community garden, such as the name, title, and a short location of where it is. And our scheduling system, which you can see for each user of the guests and who they are, basically, and when they'll arrive and when. And when you log out, it will take you back to the main page. yes, that's all for our application for now. And again, we will add more features to it in the future. All right, special thank you to Samuel, our awesome designer, and special thanks to Francis, Ryan, Helen, Alan, Britt, and Caleb. And of course, Uber for making Uber, Dev Mission, and Code for San Francisco for supporting us and helping us with this application. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, GardenSpace. Any questions for the GardenSpace team? I think, was it you, Yosebet, or Jan, one of you had actually started this idea because you were looking for or was participating in a local community garden?
Yes.
Before this?
Yes.
Which one did you go to?
I've been volunteering for a year at a previous community garden called at the Alamani Farm, which I really enjoy, and I want to share the idea by building this platform.
Very cool. All right, we are out of time for you, so we will go straight on to last but very much not the least, the SmolBiz team. And Ashley, I will give remote control to you.
Thanks. So hi everybody, my name is Ashley. I'm based in Sugar Land, Texas, and my teammates Alice Wang and Serena Chen, I'm so sorry I called you Sarah. We created SmolBiz, which brings fun to supporting small businesses. So I came up with this idea over the summer because during the pandemic and through conversations with local business owners in my community, I found that a lot of local shop owners were generally unhappy with the existing review sites such as Yelp and Google. The reviews were based on stars and were easily skewed by one disgruntled customer, and small businesses don't get to share their story and create community bonds with their customers through Yelp or Google, which is especially important because close socialization is against CDC guidelines now. So through our user research, we decided that we wanted to make a platform where business owners can create these bonds with their customer base, and customers are also able to discover new local businesses to support. So on the right, you can see those actual small businesses that we talked with in Houston, Texas. Awesome. So we divided our user base into 3 different user profiles based on our research using polling data and conversations with family members, friends, and local business owners. So first is socially conscious Sarah, who is your average millennial who cares about giving back to their community and shops with a conscience towards purposeful spending. We decided that her job, or what she's trying to accomplish, is that she wants to make the most out of her money when shopping, but she also wants to support her community members. And using our web app, she would be able to gain some social feel-good for supporting small business owners while making an impact towards spending in her community. And if she's not already actively looking to support small businesses, making this app would make readily available those who are socially conscious a tool that makes supporting small businesses really easy. And her pains or some difficulties that she's currently running into is that she's trying to complete her jobs, which include that she doesn't trust local businesses because of their negative online presence or just low online presence. And moving on to business owner Bo, he owns a small local business in San Francisco, and his jobs are to market his business, find economic support within his community, and build a customer base from trust. He would like to gain a community bond and find people who would support his values, his business, all while keeping his business afloat as well. And for him, his pains are that it's difficult to maintain a positive online reputation, and transparency is really hard to build without genuine, positive customer reviews. And for frugal Fran, she wants to save money. She's stretching every dollar, and she only wants to find the best deals and savings. But if she were able to use our web app, she would be able to find an alternative local shopping vendors, and she could feel that long-term community-wide economic gain. But she doesn't like shopping locally because she can't find as many deals and coupons, and it's generally more expensive to shop locally. So it was really important for us to understand the problems, the pains and the gains, and the jobs of our user base, and therefore our community that we are trying to serve. It helped us determine which features on our web app were most important to include, and it greatly influenced our designs later. So based on our research, our top 3 things that we wanted to build was customer trust, community, and incentive to support local businesses. So how we would build trust would be sharing the owner's story first on each shop's page. And to build community, we needed a non-traditional review system based on customer experience. With the help of Francis, we came up with a shout-out, which is a numberless review system that is more centered on the customer's experience and not an arbitrary number that could very well easily negatively impact a business's reputation. We also wanted to incorporate identity-based tags that business owners who are willing can tie to their business. For example, they can add AAPI owned or LGBTQIA plus owned and share their story behind their store because it builds empathy so that people who want to support these communities can easily find them. So also to encourage community members to shop locally and build that social feel good, we created a badge, a point system, and a leaderboard.
So for our user journey, we have Sarah, who has a shopping list of what she wants to buy. So she surfaces the web and comes across the small business directory. And she notices the price, the variety available, and the distance from her house, and also the reviews. She chooses which store has her needs, and she goes to the store in person. She is happy with her experience and leaves a review on the website. In exchange, the website offers her a badge. Then she posts her experience onto social media. So we have business owner Bo, who is desperate to save his business. Both hear about the small business directory from the Chamber of Commerce. He fills out a profile for his website and he offers coupons for people who leave reviews. He also lists his local sponsorships he has participated in. Then the community members rally around his store for support. He continues to maintain his website, building his profile with pictures and updates.
Cool. Now I'm going to go over our design process. The first thing that we did was look for inspiration. So although we didn't want to have a star review system, we still browsed through websites like Etsy, Google Review, Facebook Reviews, Yelp, and many other similar websites to look for ideas. And while looking through these websites, we took mental note of their designs, the different features that they have or what they don't have, and also the structure of their website. Next, we came together and we brainstormed on the features that we wanted for our web application and what makes us unique. And then some of the features include like eliminating the star review system and only having shout outs to highlight the businesses. And then another one is like having leadership board and badges to make shopping locally competitive and fun. And then after brainstorming, we created an information architecture, which is shown on the left here. And this basically depicts the structure of our website and how it flows through from page to page. From there, we started working on our wireframe. We took each page of our web application and planned out where we want to put our content and our features. And here are some examples of the pages that we came up with. Then with the help of Alan, we delved deeper into our Figma designs. Together, we discussed the main colors that we wanted and the overall feel of our website. And then Alan went to work and delivered some great designs. And from our designs, we created a prototype using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React, and other full stack technologies. And we're going to show you our prototype. Yeah. So this is our landing page. We can, we'll come back to it, but we'll just sign up first. So we'll sign up as a new account, and then, or we can register by writing a first name, I guess, Serena. Last name, Chen. Username, Serena Chen. And then email serenachen@gmail.com. And then password, Serena. 1111. And then we'll sign up as a business owner and submit. And then it'll bring us to our sign up page where we can add a picture of ourselves. I think if we click, we can select a file, but we don't have that right now. Yeah. And then we can insert our birthday. Any random date is fine. Gender, bio. And then here we are setting up our business. We can, I want to highlight the type of business and the community identities. That's where they can select the tags like Black owned, female owned, and youth owned. And then this is setting up the shop where we can add photos of the interior and exterior of the store. And right here is highlighting the best three, the best sellers for our shop profile. And then once we're done, we're back at the home page. And on the home page, there's a search bar on top where you can search your local stores right there, yes. And then you can shop by category. So based on tags. And then after that, you have the recent shout outs from the community. And you can click on one of them and it'll bring us to the shop profile. Yeah, exactly. So the Oasis Garden, and then it'll have the community, the tags on the right, and then you can also give them a shout out. There's a give a shout out button, and then the username, and you can also share. But what we also added is the bio, where you get to learn about the shop owner and why they started their business in the first place, and that's to help build community and trust. And then we have the popular items, customer photos, and customer shout outs. And then if we go back to the homepage, at the bottom, we have the local leadership board and then all the different badges that you can get. And that's about it. Thank you.
Great work, small biz team. Any questions for the small biz team from anyone on the call, any of our other panelists?
Yeah, sorry
Ashley,
to be a broken.
Leo, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Francis. I'll wait.
I was just going to ask Ashley, which small business that you talked to in Sugar Land might you go back and show this to when it gets fully functional?
For sure. I have a couple friends actually featured on the website. If it says, I wrote like a fake shout out for them. It was Unity Tutors. And they were like one of our first inquirers about this project when I first started it. And definitely Jason Edo of Edo Car Wash. He actually owns both a taco food truck and a car wash in Houston, which is really cool.
Really clean taco trucks then. Will you be adding something that for location? So like, you know, how will we know, how will we be able to search by, like, say, if we have San Francisco businesses in here and then you're in Texas and you have Texas businesses in there, like how can we search by neighborhood?
That's a really good question. Francis, I don't have remote control anymore, but if you could go back one slide. So on the home page, we originally wanted a zip code to indicate like where people are located, and we didn't have time to build a search results page, but in that search results page, we wanted to include neighborhoods in a sort of checkbox system so that they can select which neighborhoods they're exactly looking forward to shopping in. Say, for example, like if it's in Sugar Land, it would say Sugar Land, and yeah. we kind of wanted to incorporate like community names instead of just a zip code, because I feel like more people feel stronger ties to like a subdivision name or a local neighborhood.
Leo, did you have a last comment or question for the team?
Yeah, I did. Great job on SmolBiz. I just love all the acronyms they all have put together. My question has to do with the lack of technology that a lot of local business have. We did a project many years ago where we built websites for local business, and that was a very successful project. So I wanted to ask to your team, if you're thinking about eventually implementing some type of technology support aspect to local businesses, as some of them might not have the resources or the talent to even create those type of opportunities. So is that something that you're going to eventually include within this project?
For sure. Yes, when I was cold calling local businesses in the Houston area, there was actually one lady who I talked to who explicitly told me, could you mail a flyer to me? She didn't have a computer and she would only talk to me over the phone. So I think in the future, in a situation like that, I would really like to work with them one-on-one to set up their page and maintain it for them, maybe on a personal basis. I don't know the technology behind making this phone accessible, but that's a really interesting point that I would like to explore more into the future.
Yeah, Kimi posted, one of our board members, Abraham Velasquez, was part of that project, and we connected, I think it was about 50 local businesses in San Francisco to those technology resources for free with another program I used to run. And it was just a great joy to see the local businesses and young people building infrastructure, tech support, creating flyers, websites, all those type of things. So yeah, this is a great start. So great job for your team and all the teams on this program. Got a great talent, Alan and Francis. You keep generating the next talent available for gig economy and all this entrepreneurs. Pretty cool.
It's really satisfying to see the progress you've all made. It really is.
So I also, before we wrap up tonight, we're getting close to 6:30. I just want to give a shout out to the volunteers, Britt, Callum, Helen, Ishmael, and Sam on the design side, and my colleague and partner on the engineering side, Ryan at Uber. So big round of applause, virtual round of applause, reactions in Zoom for our volunteers who really helped take everyone's project ideas to the next level. And so to give the evening back to everyone, I will just say a big thanks to everyone. Congratulations on making it to the end. And always remember that this doesn't have to be the end. Code for San Francisco meets every Wednesday and is that welcoming space for you to always come in and continue learning and working towards your career in the tech industry. So with that, I'll close and bid you all a very good night. Thanks, everyone, and we'll work on getting this video up so that you can refer to it again later. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Francis.
Hey, Christina, can you stop the recording? I also want to talk to the youth about their stipends and other swag we have available.